Hello everyone, welcome back. Welcome back. As you guys can see, I'm repping some Taylor Swift merch. This came in the mail the other day. And with that being said, we're going to be doing a book recommendation video, but off of all of the songs on The Life of a Showgirl. That's right, you heard me. We're doing book recommendations for every single song in The Life of a Showgirl. I, personally, am obsessed with this album. I think Taylor is brilliant. I love her so much. She has been an artist that I have been listening to since I was a child. I just really do love Taylor, and this album speaks to me because I am an actor. Not that I'm in the show business, but I do kind of understand Hollywood and the ins and outs of what the behind the scenes of being a showgirl looks like, and it's not glamorous, it's not fun, it's stressful, and it's ugly, and it's not kind. It's not a world where you're really welcome all the time, and it's very clear in Taylor's album exactly what she's trying to say. So let's get into some book recommendations. I'm so excited. If you see me looking over here, it's because I've got my notes pulled up on my computer. But let's start out with the first song, which is The Fate of Ophelia. You guys, this song was so good. I literally have been singing this song in repeat on my head. On my head? In my head. It's been on repeat in my head. Absolutely outrageous amounts of time of my days have been consumed by Taylor Swift lyrics. But with that being said, let's talk about book recs for this song. Okay, so for The Fate of Ophelia, these were the lyrics that I went off of for my book recommendations. And the book lyrics that I went off of are, "All that time I sat alone in my tower, you were just honing your powers. Now I can see it all. Late one night you dug me out of my grave and saved my heart from the fate of Ophelia." And the two book recommendations I have for that song are, drumroll please, let's start with the one that's right behind me. Say You Swear by Megan Brandy. I don't recommend reading the second book. I didn't like the second book. Just pretend that this is the only book. But in this, our main female character is really going through some shit, and our main male character, Noah, he kind of comes in and makes friends with our main female character and really digs her out of this like really tough time that she's going through. And I mean, you guys can guess where the story goes, but this book was fantastic. I absolutely recommend this book. But if you are listening to The Fate of Ophelia, you have to read this book. This book was so good. And then the second book we have for that is A Court of Mist and Fury. It's going to take me a minute to get this one out, so I'm just not going to. But it is A Court of Mist and Fury, and Feyre and Rhys. I mean, please. It's so loud, those two. Okay, next song is Elizabeth Taylor, and I have 3 book recommendations for that song, but the first one I have for that book, why is my brain having such a hard time right now? But the book I have for that song is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I love this series so much. The lyrics I'm going off of this one, by the way, are "All the right guys promised they'd stay, under bright lights they withered away, but you bloom." The way that I literally want to read this book again so bad. But this follows Nate and Anastasia, or Stassi they call her in the book. But Nate is a hockey player and Stassi is a figure skater. And Stassi's figure skating partner is kind of a shitbag. So we end up following Nate, trying to do what he can to help Stassi. And this book is fantastic. This is a series, but it's a standalone series, so if you really only want to read this one, that's fine, but I loved all 3 of these books, but this is the one that I am recommending for Elizabeth Taylor. And then the other 2 that I am recommending for Elizabeth Taylor are Magnolia Parks. I don't think I need to dive too much into it, and if you guys haven't watched, I have read a few of those books on my channel, so if you want to go search for those, I would highly recommend. If you have not read these books, I would also highly recommend. They are in the YA romance section, but let me be so perfectly honest, these are not YA books, okay? They're not YA books. They are absolutely filthy. But Magnolia Parks has some attention issues, I guess you could say. And yeah, let's just leave it there. I don't want to spoil too much. But Magnolia Parks. And then the second one I have for this one is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. And our 2 main characters are kind of in a battle for who's going to get to write this memoir about this really famous socialite. And they end up going through some things and finding some things out, and I don't want to spoil anything, but the romance in this story was beautiful. The next song is Opalite. I have all of those books in here. For Opalite, we are obviously going to be screaming the Empyrean series. It's Alright, You Were Dancing Through the Lightning Strikes. Sleepless in the Onyx Night. But Now the Sky is Opalite. Oh my lord, never made no one like you before. You had to make your own sunshine. But now the sky is Opalite. Obviously, Taylor and Rebecca were just chatting behind scenes here and just actually made us a book talk album. But this is screaming the Empyrean series, and the Empyrean series is Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, and Onyx Storm. And we are still waiting on the next book, and I want Rebecca Yarros to take as much time as she needs because, let me tell you, sometimes a girl needs a break, and girl needs a break. Okay, so I'm gonna be patient. But the next book that I have on that is Archer's Voice. You guys, Archer's Voice was so fantastic. And whenever I was listening through this the first time, I was like, well, number one, I was not thinking about books while I was listening through this for the first time. I was listening to the lyrics. But the second read through, I was like, oh, this is screaming this book at me. And then I got the idea for the book, and also Sean's older sister texted me at the same time, that like on the same day that I had this idea, so that was really fun. But yeah, Archer's Voice screams Opalite because Archer really has a rough time in this town. Archer uses sign language. He doesn't have a voice, and he's ostracized in this town. People don't really speak to him, and that's outrageous, by the way. But he's also seen as this grumpy character because he doesn't speak and he doesn't form relationships with anyone in the town. But he meets, what was her name, Maya? It was Bree, I think. I don't even think I was close. It was Bree. Maya, excuse me, who? Anyway, it follows Bree and Archer, and Bree moves into this town and sees Archer, and he doesn't say anything to her, but he like stares at her really weird, and so she starts asking around town like what is with him, and they say that he doesn't have a voice, like he doesn't speak. And so luckily for Archer, Bree's family uses sign language, so they're able to communicate. And yeah, I just love this book so much. You guys have to read this one. Next song is Father Figure. Okay, I only have one book out of the 3 that I have chosen for this one, but let's talk about the books that I have on my Kindle, which are Assassin's Blade. Obviously, this screams Assassin's Blade. Like, so hard. And then we've got the Caraval trilogy. I can't get it down either. It's too high up. And I'm sitting on the ground and I really don't want to get up. But then it also screams the Caraval trilogy because our 2 sisters kind of prove that, like, their is bigger than his. So, anyway. For Eldest Daughter, I obviously have A Court of Silver Flames because, well, obviously Nesta goes through it, and it's just really loud for Nesta in the best way that I can explain. The next song is Ruin the Friendship, and I have The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, and this book is basically set in a house that can travel 7 years in the future or 7 years in the past. And our 2 main characters are Clementine and Ewan, I believe is how you say his name, but they are obviously 7 years separated, and now that they're figuring it out, Clementine has to figure out what the next step is, and ruining the friendship is kind of the best possible alternative for this one. And then I also have The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams, and this one is not like as serious as the 7-Year Slip, but this one is a best friends to lovers romance. So that's what I mean by ruin the friendship in this one. And whenever I was listening through this, I was like, oh yeah, this would so totally go with The Cheat Sheet, because his name is Nathan. I was about to say tell me his name is Noah. But Nathan and Bree have been childhood best friends. They've been best friends for a really long time, and they both really like each other, but neither of them want to be the one to make the first move. And they just need to ruin their friendship is really the best way I can put this. Then, actually romantic, I have Daisy Jones and the Six. Daisy and Billy really go freaking at it in this book, so yeah, their banter and just absolute hate-love relationship that they have, this absolutely screams actually romantic. And then I also have Daisy Hates, which is also part of the Magnolia Park series. So once again, not YA. And then the next song is Wish List, which is one of my favorites on the entire album. I'm literally obsessed with this song. It makes me think of me and Sean, so that's where I resonate with it, but I love it so much. And I have Strawberry Patch Pancake House for this one. Anyway, our main male character in this, he doesn't settle. He has a child now, and everything is being flipped on its head, but it's so sweet. It's so sweet. So sweet. Then the next one I have for this one is Fall Into Temptation, but this one follows Beckett and Gianna, and Gianna is a single mom of 2, and Beckett does not like to settle. He is not someone who settles at all. And then he meets Gianna's kids, and he falls in love with her kids, which in turn has him falling in love with her. and it's just a beautiful story. I do want to say though, and I've said it multiple times, the conflict in that story was BS, but we're not going to talk about that right now. We're just doing book recs. And then the next song is Wood, and I have Wildfire on that list. This is also part of the Icebreaker series. This is book 2, but once again, they are interconnected standalones. But this one, literally, please. Russ and Aurora are that's all. That's all. That's all I have to say. And then I also have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. No. Yes. Yes, I have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and found it. I also found Fall into Temptation. But I have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue for Wood, and I can't really say much about that because it will totally spoil this book. So that's all I'm going to say. Then the next song is Cancelled, and I have A Court of Silver Flames for that. I have The Idea of You for that. And I have Magnolia Parks for that. I cannot say anything about any of those books because it will totally spoil it. And then the next song is Honey. I have Summer in the City. This book literally screams honey at me because of the banter that our two main characters have and the kind of animosity that they have with each other turns into a beautiful romance where, yeah, he can totally call her honey because... And then I have Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. You guys need to read those books if you have not. I still need to read the newest one, but that's gonna be pushed back to January because I have too many spooky reads and holiday reads that I cannot squeeze in just a general romance right now. And then I have The Dead Romantics. It's another Ashley Poston book, I know, but this book was fantastic and I really can't say much about that book because once again, it will spoil it. And then the last song on this album is The Life of a Showgirl featuring Sabrina Carpenter. And I have, where you at? Lucky Charm, which is actually a Taylor and Travis, what do you call them? Fanfic. So this follows Stone and Emerson is she wants to be a big star in Nashville, and Stone is her brother's old best friend. They're no longer friends because Stone got drafted to the NFL and her brother did not. So there's a story that was told, but there's two sides of the story. So Emerson and Stone end up reconnecting, and yeah. This one though, Stone is, I don't know if this is gonna spoil it. That's what it is. So yeah, Stone keeps coming to Emerson's shows and he sits and waits for her, and The Life of a Showgirl. And then I have Duplicity, and this one is it's more on the spicy side, so let's just say that really quick. But the showgirl aspect that I have is for that one is whenever Sabrina and Taylor are like, you don't want to know what the life of a showgirl is like, and then they're like, yes I do. And their showgirl stuff though is not on the stage as much as it is in CEOs' offices. So, with that being said, those are all of the book recommendations I have for this album. I'm literally so ecstatic about all of these books and how this entire album made me feel. I also have an honorable mention that I've not read before, and that is The 7 Lives of Evelyn Hugo for Elizabeth Taylor, because Elizabeth Taylor literally had 7 husbands. That book is based on her, I believe, lightly based around her. But anyway, with that being said, oh shit, this is gonna not go very good. It's already not going good. I got it. With that being said, oh Jesus, these are all of the book recommendations I have for this video. I can't even get them all in the camera. But these are all of the book recommendations I have for Taylor's new album. If you guys have any book recommendations for this album that I did not mention, let me know in the comments. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you leave a comment downstairs. Make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.